It's an honor and privilege to host you this evening. And we have some really awesome guests today. Now, allow me to welcome Honorable Evans, Deputy Minister of Youth Sports from Ghana. Welcome.
My sister, Honorable Rosemary, the Minister of Youth and Culture of Uganda. Ministers of Commonwealth nations here in present. Let me also take the opportunity to acknowledge the presence of Honorable Pius, who is the Chief Executive Officer of National Youth Authority in Ghana. Pius, stand up, let them see you. Our distinguished youth here in gathered, our media friends, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me take this opportunity to express my gratitude to my sister Rosemary and the good people of Uganda for accepting to host this program and making it a success. I can say so far, so good. As I have been introduced by the moderator of this session, my name is Evans Opuku, the Honorable Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports in Ghana, the Member of Parliament for Sunafo North constituency of Afo region of Ghana, and a strong, self-motivated, transformational, coherent, and passionate activist of the youth. I bring you greetings from the good people of Ghana, the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Yusuf, who I graciously represent, and the good people of Ghana who have continuously thrown belief and support for youth development. I must emphasize that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the President of the Republic of Ghana, is a youth-made leader, and his personal commitment to prosperity, wealth, and general well-being of the youth is uncontestable. And I feel obligated that in this forum, I bring you his best wishes. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe strongly that on the search for the choice of personalities for the delivery of keynote address of our gallant and dear youth gathered in this auditorium, I was among multiple competent choices, and yet the axe graciously fell on me. I do not take this opportunity lightly, and therefore wish to register my sincerest gratitude for the honor. As I peruse through my invitation, I arrive at conclusions that my address will be centered around a team taking charge of our future. The obvious choice of any country wishing to have the best of development, sustain it, grow, and ensure that prosperity is evenly distributed must seek to promote the youth as a development actors and then safeguard of the future. It is therefore not lost in me that I consider the team and firmly support its proposition. May I ask all participants to kindly be on their feet and repeat after me. Please, let us shout in such a way that this auditorium will shake. So kindly be on your feet and just repeat after me. It goes like this. Certainly we are the future of Africa, and we take the charge of our future. So let's go. Certainly. Okay, thank you. You may sit down. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to deliver my address by focusing on contemporary issues such as youth as demographic dividends, youth and mindset, leadership and governance, education, training and development, globalization, migration, youth and security, ignorance, adventure culture, peer influence, and then entrepreneurship and employment. My speech will seek to perpetuate the realities of the above listed issues with pertinent reference to the youth, and by the end provide proposed solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2020 Population and Housing Census conducted in my own country, Ghana, put the population of the youth above 35% of the total population of the country. And I have the strongest belief that this situation is not different across Commonwealth nations, and I dare say across the world. These demographic dividends, which project member countries as the nations with the youngest population, must be significantly mainstreamed and strategically aligned with all development agenda of the Commonwealth states, if it is the Commonwealth state. It is in this light that the theme for this occasion is rightly placed. And I have to commend the proposers of the theme for this program. We need as people to ask very pertinent questions such as, 1, how do we harmonize, develop, and project this favor of the Creator for maximum benefit of member states? 2, how do we as people position youth as a driving force of the world? What strategic roles should we as a continent assign to the youth as a deliberate effort of preparing them for the future? What significant funding and resources are needed, and where do we find those resources? What are the necessary educational and development strategies needed for the youth of Commonwealth nations? Distinguished youth, we all must ponder over these questions and provide relevant solutions. I will not pretend to have specific solutions, but I believe strongly that the legacies that our forebears have bestowed on us give us strong resilience and the power of thought to begin to provide solutions of utilizing these God-given young men and women to us. The purposes of comparative advantage in international dynamics is knowledge, skills, and appropriate competencies. And I do believe strongly that we can make this possible with these young ones sitting with us in this August forum. Ladies and gentlemen, the mindset of every individual and generation has direct consequences on development. The level, character, and nature of mindset could have positive or negative implications for personality development, wayfaring, and other personality traits. The mindset of our youth, unfortunately, is quite fixated, conserved, and in many cases, content with little achievement. We need, as a people of Commonwealth nations, to motivate and encourage our youth to begin to think big and globally. Ladies and gentlemen, leadership and governance are the cornerstones of development of states. Countries that are shining have put together deliberate policies and strategies for the creation of meaningful successions into all kinds of leadership positions and governance levels. The youth of member states lag behind their counterparts across the world in their involvement in key leadership positions and their participation in governance. It is even more worrying in international dynamics when we are not able to function as expected. The trend must be addressed if member states are serious about their future and has been envisaged by today's theme. Distinguished guests, education, training, development are key in the overall human development index. The educational content and contexts in our member states remain conservative, rote learning, dependent nature, and largely built low self-esteem. This must be reviewed to give way to a more enlightened, motivating, job creation-oriented, human feeling, and the cohesion and centralization of the environment within development. This is significant, typically, and must continuously be part of our formal and informal discussions. Ladies and gentlemen, the level of education and training must provide room for creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship. The current situation in many member states is that our youth are trained or got trained in search of jobs and being employed. I must say that this trend, if allowed to sustain, will destroy the foundations of entrepreneurship bequeathed to us by our ancestors and will continuously create a substantial gap between employment and unemployment. Our efforts as people must be geared towards self-reliance, and these must start with the youth now. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the advancements of technology has brought communities, countries, and continents closer than ever expected. However, the globalization presents pros and cons, which must be continuously and consciously analyzed and projected for the solution of identifiable problems. When issues and circumstances of globalization become obstruction and obstacle to development, then they must be reviewed. The youth of Commonwealth nations must be consciously guided, directed, and motivated to carefully analyze global trends and accordingly fall in line, transform or abandon completely texts and contexts that are found unsuitable and inappropriate for their development and taking charge of the future. Associated with globalization is the awareness or otherwise of the nature of other communities, states, and continents. As a result of pressures such as unemployment, hunger, conflict, development exclusions, the search by the youth of Commonwealth nations perceive better conditions remains high. The compelling, dehumanizing conditions faced by some member states, illegal migrants across European Ocean amidst inappropriate routes and dangerous modes of transport are not only worrying, but also insulting to Commonwealth as an association. We must collectively play a role of ensuring that the youth remain in member states and take charge of the development process. Distinguished guests, the youth of some member states supposed to be the best resource for socioeconomic development, unfortunately, are hugely involved in various forms of crimes such as money laundering, drug peddling, illegal mining, fraud, cybercrime, and in the Ghanaian parlance, Sakawa. This phenomenon results in large numbers of youth incarceration, insanity, permanent disabilities, and in some cases, death. The overall consequences of this situation is underdevelopment of many member states, the minimal human capital availability, and the loss of image and integrity. This canker needs to be addressed. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to progressively descend my address by providing the following suggestions. 1, in order to benefit from the demographic dividends of the youth, we must begin or continue to harness the formalization of youth groupings and the internal and external linkages of the youth first to themselves and also between the youth and the elderly generations. This will bridge the gap and provide enabling environment for close fertilization of knowledge and experiences. 2, the anthem of promoting can-do spirit among the youth of Commonwealth nations must be intensified as an encouragement tool for self-confidence and self-motivation. This must be consolidated with the spirit of volunteerism, selflessness, and patriotism. 3, it will be rational and highly rewarding if we could, as a people, formalize mentoring and coaching of the youth in all spheres of life. We must identify, develop, and encourage role models of our own. We must seek to review and standardize our educational curriculum to allow for easy flow of the youth within the Commonwealth in pursuit of education. The current differences in the educational structure sounds inward and does not promote coherent and common purpose learning of the youth. Our system of training must change from rote learning and colorful certification to skills development and hands-on training focused on employment creation. 5, additionally, we must seek to create linkages among the youth of Commonwealth nations through knowledge transfer, targeting tourism. Knowledge transfer, targeting tourism, cross-culturalism, and peer shaping. This will promote common identity of our youth. The purposes of employment of the youth must be broadened in the current circumstances, where the youth concentrate within their own countries in search of jobs has become problematic and indeed unacceptable. I would like to encourage the youth to search for employment globally, as their certificate obtained from various institutions in member nations are of global standards. Migration by all standards is unavoidable. However, it must be well programmed and streamlined in accordance with international practices and norms. Our youth must be given the appropriate migration orientations and resources to undertake decent, safe, and acceptable migration. Ladies and gentlemen, let me emphasize that Commonwealth Youth Charter will forever remain white elephants if member states do not take relevant concrete actions to operationalize it. I would therefore entreat all of us to continue to play advocacy roles in our various countries to ensure that all administrative and legislative structures are invoked for purposes of operationalizing the Commonwealth Youth Charter. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude by making a passionate appeal to the youth that we must take an irrevocable vow of ensuring that our destiny for our development is squarely in our readiness to seek for righteous opportunities and humbly, strategically position ourselves to take the advantages for prosperity, self-reliance, and national as well as continental development. Our future is the future of Commonwealth states, and we are determined to make member states brighter and brightest of the world. Thank you so much for the audience.